MDA Space formally expanded its operations with the creation of 49 North. The subsidiary will focus on Canada's national defense priorities outside of the space domain. Here to discuss the future of Canadian defense, Mike Greenley, CEO of MDA Space. Mike, thanks very much for joining us.
Good afternoon. Good to see you.
Why do the spinoff? Why create 49 North?
Just to be able to respond to the growing focus on defense. MDA Space has over 50 years of history in the defense sector, both in space, of course, but also in non-space, in Army, Navy, Air Force, and joint communications activity. And so we wanted to be able to take the non-space aspect, put it in 49 North, create a wholly owned subsidiary with its own president in Joe Armstrong, and be able to focus that in the market to be able to build Canadian systems and to be able to partner with international partners to bring solutions to the Canadian defense market.
And what will you be focusing on with defense? What will be your target?
Our history in defense in the non-space area includes autonomous systems. We've been one of the premier providers of unmanned aerial vehicles to the Canadian Army and Air Force over the last year since Afghanistan. In command, control, communication systems, in intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance systems, sensors, and in-service support to those systems once deployed.
And there are some, I imagine for you, there must be some tremendous opportunities with the expansion of spending on defense. How do you see this growing, and what opportunities do you see? Is it going to be focusing on those unmanned, or will there be one area of the ones you just mentioned that will get more focus than the others?
Yeah, certainly unmanned will get a fair amount of attention. We're busy these days delivering the remotely piloted air system, the RPAS system for the Canadian Air Force, and the Royal Canadian Navy's unmanned vehicle program, which we recently won and are delivering on. We'll look for more opportunities in that area, which will certainly be a focus of all defense expansion around the world as the various defense forces continue to expand. So we'll be looking to leverage that position in Canada to do more. But also in sensors, we're building sensors for the next generation river-class destroyers, the next generation surface ships for the Canadian Navy, and command, control, and communications as we bring secure communications and sensor integration to various systems. With Canada's focus on increased sovereignty and security, it'll be very important to be able to look at all of our sensor environment, how those sensors come to create a picture of Canadian security or military security internationally, and then to be able to provide the necessary secure communications for military operations, both across Canada and in the North, and internationally when deployed.
And I imagine the unmanned and the sensors, and that must be a huge aspect of defending the North. They seem like a natural fit for it.
For sure, it's a natural fit. On the space side of the business, the MDA Space side of the house, we recently announced in the fall a strategic agreement with the Department of National Defense and with the Telesat Corporation for us to be able to provide the satellite-based communications for the military into the future for Arctic communications in the North. That'll be a very, very large program. In this new 49 North activity, we'll be able to provide a range of different autonomous operations, sensor types, and communication activities for northern operations on the Navy, Army, and Air Force side of things.
And a big push with this defense spending is keeping Canadian companies, obviously yourself. Are you working with any other Canadian companies, or will you be trying to help develop other Canadian companies in this field?
I think it's really important for the Canadian companies to work together. We've just recently announced on Monday by the Prime Minister the defense industrial strategy for the country. I was certainly there at that announcement. It was a great announcement. We've been looking for this type of defense strategy in the country for decades now. In my 35 years of experience, this is a unique moment to be able to see everything come together to have a defense industrial strategy for Canada. And within that, there was the elements of build first in Canada, then partner internationally, and then buy when we have to. And on the build side, I think Canadian industry needs to work together to be able to make sure that we can collaborate and deliver the systems that the Canadian military needs. So we'll be looking as one of the larger defense prime contractors in Canada to be able to partner with other Canadian industry, to be able to build the Canadian military capacity, the systems that our military needs, to be able to perform and expand their role. in addition to partnering with international players to bring their capability into Canada and deliver it within Canada to create jobs and sovereignty within the Canadian environment.
Now, is the talent and the capabilities in Canada, do you feel?
I do. We've been very successful at hiring strong engineers over the last several years. In 2022, MDA Space hired over 700 people. In 2023, over 850. In 2024, over 900. So we've definitely demonstrated that we can attract engineering talent to our corporation and to the defense and space sectors. We will continue to do that. 49 North will be hiring as it goes through 2026 and starts to expand. And we will be teaming with Canadian and international partners to be able to create the industry consortiums necessary to deliver on Canada's expanded defense industrial spend.
All right, just one last question just on MDA Space. Latest on the EchoStar deal around that, there's a possible class action lawsuit. Can you talk to any of that?
Just that we'll be, defending ourselves well against that, defending against that event. Everything was done properly there, and we will aggressively be defending ourselves.
Okay, we'll leave it there. We appreciate you joining us, Mike. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Mike Greenley is the CEO of MDA Space.